Hi everyone, I hope that you are all doing okay. Before I get into what I'm here to talk about in this video, I just wanted to let you know that earlier today my sister Laura left my house because we had this kind of spontaneous weekend together. So yeah, she came over to mine early yesterday morning and we've done 4 videos. But due to my work schedule and everything with the build up to Christmas, it's unlikely I'm going to be able to upload them until I finish for Christmas, and that is at Thursday lunchtime. So if I'm able to get any of the 4 videos uploaded before then, I will, but most likely you won't see them until later on this week. But just so you know, there's 4 more videos from us going to be coming to you soon. Okay, so now over to what this video is about, and that is to review the book I've been reading for the past couple of weeks, The Tenant of Wildfell Hall by Anne Bronte. This is the first Anne Bronte book that I've ever read, and I absolutely loved it. The story follows, just so you know, it's written from a point of view of a man called Gilbert, well, partly written from the point of view of a man called Gilbert, should I say, Gilbert Markham, who is writing a letter to his friend to tell him this story to do with people, well, to do with him, certain events that have happened to him over the past couple of years, and people who he lives with in the area that he lives in, and focusing on a particular person, and it is the woman who has taken up rooms in the building Wildfell Hall in the area where they live, called when she's introduced to him as Helen Graham. She has one servant called Rachel and her little boy called Arthur, who's 5 years old. And everybody's very intrigued by this woman. She speaks her mind. She keeps to herself. She doesn't like to really mingle with the other people in the village, but when she has to, she will do it. Very outspoken. She's determined to raise her son as she sees best, and doesn't let other women, including Gilbert's mother, tell her how she should look, care and raise her child. As time goes on, it then, because of certain circumstances, Helen gives Gilbert her diaries, and then it shifts to, from a letter from Gilbert's point of view telling the story, it then shifts to Helen's diaries, which cover about a year or so before, it covers about 5 years before they met, but it kind of jumps across those 5 years because of certain situations at a time span, and then it reverts back to the letter format from Gilbert's point of view. So you have these various different formats. It's not just a standard, third person prose piece. It's very much kind of first person from the 2 different perspectives. But the reason why it does that is because of Helen's past, and why is she at Wildfell Hall, what's she running from, and it's so interesting the way that Anne writes this. Now there is a quote that I just want to say, read out, but I have to read it off my phone because I sent the quote to my sister going, oh my god, that is amazing, but I didn't note down the page number, so I can't read it out of the book, and I'd be flicking through like crazy and I can't find it, so I'm just going to read the line off my phone. So it's what's Gilbert and his mother and sister are sat having like afternoon tea, and they're talking about Helen arriving and everything, and various other stuff. But Gilbert's mother says to Rose, the daughter, Gilbert's sister, you know, Rose, in all household matters we have only 2 things to consider. First, what's proper to be done, and secondly, what's most agreeable to the gentlemen of the house. Anything will do for the ladies. And that is just Victorian kind of attitudes in a nutshell of how women should be. But this is how the reality of a woman is, has the same things, has the same aspects of a man in regards to wants of where their life should go, dreams and such, and the fact that she's saying no, women will just put up with anything and we have to please the men and be obedient to the men. It's really interesting how this older woman completely contrasts with Helen, and how Helen is outspoken and will say, no, I will not do that. I will do as I see fit to raise my son to X, Y, and Z. She's absolutely astonishing. This book is so feminist, as I can't think exactly what the word is that I want to say, but it is a key read for feminism texts, I think, in literature. And the fact that it was written when it was written, and you have this woman who's saying, no, screw you, I'm going to do what I like. That's astonishing to me. And with Helen, with her past, she's running from, which is to do with an abusive husband. Her maid, Rachel, I fell absolutely in love with. I adored Rachel. And Rachel was in the household with Helen when she was with her husband, Mr. Huntington. And yeah, because she refers to herself as Helen Graham in the village, but she's actually Helen Huntington. And Rachel says to her, look, you're going to need, when you get out of here with your son, you're going to need help. You're not going to be able to get all of your stuff out of here alone. If I stay here, he's going to fire me, and I'm not going to be able to find work, and I will be in a very bad situation. But if I come with you, I can at least be help to you and get you out of here. And Helen goes, well, I don't know when I'm going to be able to pay you. I said, I don't care. So by taking Rachel with her, Helen is not only saving the life of her son, she's also saving the life of this young woman who will do anything for her, is so loyal, and just a beautiful spirit. I just wanted to give her a massive, massive hug for what she did for Helen. And it was completely dangerous. They didn't know if they were going to make it out, and they did. And it was just wonderful to read this book where you have independent spirits, of women, but you also have women protecting women, and also men protecting women, as well as men being horrible to women. And by the protecting women, I mean Gilbert, and being horrible to women is Mr. Huntington. Now, Mr. Huntington's a very interesting character. I don't know if any of you guys have seen the Bronte video that I did with my sister earlier this year, and we were talking about it because my sister has read Tenant of Wildfell Hall a few times now. And the first time she read it, Mr. Huntington, when she was, I think said she was about 16, 17, Mr. Huntington was this dashing, charming man. And when I read it, I totally got why she felt that way. And then the second time she read it, she said it was so scary how, as an older woman, I read it, and I my eyes were just blown open by the fact that he's so horrible, he's so manipulative, but he's so subtle about it. He's one of these people that he will say the most horrible thing to you, but with a smile and in such a way. He's kind of like somebody who would comment about being with their partner, their wife or whatever, and comment about their weight, or, oh, why are you wearing that, kind of thing. But he does it with a smile, and Helen fell for him as a teenager because he was this charming man, and he was very sexy and took interest in her. But that's from straight off the mark. He's manipulating her, and she has absolutely no idea until they're married and she sees his true self and what he is willing to do. And the fact that he is jealous of her and with Arthur, their son, that he feels that Arthur is taking her away from him, but at the same time, he keeps her very much arm's length. I think that psychology of his mind is so interesting. I would love to reread this and look more at Mr. Huntington. I think he's such an interesting character. It's kind of like with Wuthering Heights, um, looking at Hindley, who is Kathy's brother, who develops gambling and drinking issues after his wife dies, and how he goes from this man who is so strong and this power force in Wuthering Heights to this wreck. And Mr. Huntington is kind of the same thing. He goes from this strong, powerful man who at first he's very charming, then he's still that strong, powerful man, but he has more power over her as a husband, to becoming this shell of a man in the end. I really liked the way that his ending came about. It was what he deserved, I think. But also think about it from Anne's perspective, how her brother Bramwell, famously, he had serious drinking and drug addiction, which all three Bronte sisters write about and incorporate in their books, which is an astonishing thing, I think. But the way that Anne looks at it is, this is why I'd like to read more in depth about Huntington, I think, the next time I read it. But it kind of feels like with Anne's work, Mr. Huntington, he drinks and does drugs and that as a source of ultimate pleasure, whereas like Wuthering Heights, Hindley uses drugs and alcohol as a way to take him away from all the crap. Huntington revels in that power, that drunken, glorified state of mind when he's high and when he's drinking and such. He is the ultimate person, as it were, in that state. So yeah, I definitely want to reread and look more in depth at Huntington's character. I adore that Anne wrote this. I totally agree with my sister, what we said in that Bronte video, that it's so sad that Anne, she had such an amazing talent. The fact that she wrote about this kind of stuff as if she had experienced it herself, when she hadn't, apart from the drugs and alcohol issues that she witnessed through Bramwell, things, escaping a horrible marriage and all this sort of manipulation and that. She hadn't experienced any of that, yet at like 20 years old, she wrote this amazing book. I am in awe of her. And I am so annoyed that, well, two things. One, I hadn't read it sooner. And secondly, that she's not as celebrated as her sisters are. It's, just so frustrating. So I implore you, if you go to the bookshop, please pick up the Tenant of Wildfell Hall and read it and celebrate what a wonderful, wonderful writer Anne Bronte was. I'm just, wow, I'm taken aback by this. Wuthering Heights is still my favourite Bronte novel, but Tenant of Wildfell Hall is now second. So there you go. I loved it. So do read. Now, when it comes to adaptations, the only adaptation that I have, because it's the only real one that actually is the 1997 version that was made by the BBC. Which again, my sister and I talked about in the Bronte video. There are changes from the book, but then all adaptations, there are changes. But there aren't many. It's very, very well put together. This I did want to rewatch it after I finished the book. Before I made this video, but I was like, you know what, let's just make the video, because I had seen it before and everything, and I still vividly remember it. So this, I really, really do recommend this. It's well crafted. The use of colour, especially with the different locations, is so interesting, because Mr. Huntington, it's always quite dark. There's like reds and yellows, and it's always like, it's mainly set at night, so it's candle lit, and there's fireplaces, roaring fireplaces, and lots of red and such, and it's quite dizzy and such because of the effects of drugs and alcohol. Whereas when you're with Helen and Arthur and Gilbert, where where they are, it's pure air because they're outside all the time, so it's green grass and the wind blowing of flowers and nature, and it feels like when you're with the Huntington side of it, you feel claustrophobic, you can't breathe, you're trapped, which Helen was in her marriage. And then when you get out of that, when you're with Gilbert and everything, it feels like it's this big gulp of fresh air. It's very, very well done. So I would recommend this drama. And of course, the other drama that which we talked about in the Bronte video, my sister and I, is the drama that kind of set off the conversation of the video, and that was To Walk Invisible, which looks at the lives of the Bronte sisters when they wrote their books. And there's Anne there, and how they started writing and everything, and about Branwell and how he affected their writing and such, and their life in general. This was so good. I'd strongly recommend this one as well. But yes, they were extraordinary sisters, and like my sister said, they were born to write these books, and they will live on forever. But I really wish that Anne was more celebrated. Now that I've read one of her books, I'd definitely like to read her other book as well and explore her more. She was an extraordinary woman, an extraordinary writer, and as I said, to write about topics that she had no connection with whatsoever, and write them so well, it's astonishing. And yeah, I'm so thankful that she wrote this, and I'm so happy that I read it. Okay guys, that's what I thought of Anne Bronte's The Tenant of Wildfell Hall. Have you read this book? I'd love to know what you thought of it. You can leave me a comment in the comments box below, or give me a thumbs up, a thumbs down. Entirely up to you, I'll let you decide. And I will be back soon with my next video, which will be the announcement of the next book I'm reading. That will be non-fiction. Alright then guys, bye!